Hello everyone, this is Colin on the ASCA League channel, and we are finally back. Here we are for the final race of Speedweeks. We've made it through all the duels, the Bud Shootout, the Cobb and Amateur Series race, but we are finally here for the Pennzoil Pro Series main event, the Daytona 500. And as the field of 42 lines up on pit road, we are just about set to get underway for this 48-lap event. On the pole, Nicholas Samudio, winner of Duel 1 from the two respective maybe duels. On his outside, Brian Boone, winner of Duel 2. And then lining up deep behind him are the finishing orders from both duels. Looking through the grid, a bunch of drivers lucky to start out front with their great finishes in the duels. Some others not so lucky, having poor results in the two qualifier races. You see Kyle Singer, Ryan Kendall, two guys capable of doing well on the super speedways back here, but very far deep in the field. You see Eric Willis, Kyle Collins, Jay Durrell, very fast cars. They're going to have to come from very deep in the field in order to make something happen in the first points-paying race of the season. We have a few onboard cameras here today. Driving the cockpit cam in the Miller Lite onboard is Sam Rogers from National Racing. His teammate will be carrying the Chevy onboard with the roof camera, as well as Addison Steinbach for Knight Hoffman Racing. But as the field rounds turn 4, it's been a lengthy off-season, and the Pennzoil Pro Series has waited long enough to go points racing. This is the first race back, and this is the first race to determine points. The pace car peels off of pit road, and we are racing. Green flag is in the air for the 5th Daytona 500. And Nicholas Samudio with the early jump, not a surprise considering what we have seen in the previous dual races, as he will take the early lead, but just behind there, going 3 wide, wasting no time to get racy here. That's Sanders in the 09 car just behind, and the Ford Mustang looking strong. He's going to go and try a challenge for the lead here. Off of the trial field in the lead lap number 1, it's going to be Samudio just by a nose. But Sanders is going to try to lead lap 2, but you better be careful because here comes the Bud Shootout winner, Daniel Voyles in the Marmot Ford Mustang. He has been strong all speed weeks, and he wants a taste of the lead as well. But he'll be challenged too. Here comes Sam Rogers with the inboard camera. Sam Rogers threatening this week that National Racing probably has the best stuff in the garage area. Obviously a new driver for National Racing, but his confidence has been through the roof this week with what National Racing has brought to the table, and they are super excited to go points racing here today, and obviously showing that confidence by taking the lead. However, it won't be long-lived because of the nature of pack racing, as Sam Rogers is shuffled on back. And here comes the 04 car of Addison Steinbach, a new team for Steinbach this year. Not the familiar 23 car that we're used to seeing, and Coca-Cola is adorning the sides of that car this year. Looking for new ventures for Addison with Knight Hoffman Racing. You see his teammate on the outside there, Arsha Sain, in his second campaign for the team. Out front, Brock McMahon with Haley Wish, 2 unsuspecting drivers. But just goes to show that the pack racing is a big mediator here, and anyone can make it happen. Speaking of making it happen, no one's better qualified than Jay Barker, your defending champion. We were mentioning National Racing before, and they have had some strong cars recently in practice. And in the duels, they were contenders all duel long. However, some of the drivers wound up in issues out of their own control. However, Jay Barker is looking to go to the front of the pack and try to contend for what matters most, the points-paying win here today. But as we look deep in the field, he is stuck in the sucker hole along with Brian Boone. A bunch of the drivers stuck in the middle trying to at least last it out. This is the longest race we have to offer so far in Speed Weeks. The 48 lapper at the Daytona 500. It's a long ways to get to the end, and you don't want to find yourself wrapped up in an accident early on, because you will not have the car in order to take the victory later on in the race. And how about this? Chase Marks for the newly formed Rastifier Racing is out in front. And that's a great story to see. Rastifier Racing has 2 entries. However, their second one, Chloe Baker, did not make the field. But Chase Marks, either way, is giving the team a good run in the first race of the season. That Toyota Camry is looking very strong out front, but he's unfortunately going to lose the lead here to Jay Durrell, as Durrell will take the lead in the Fitzwater Australia Dodge. The first time the team comes back, and the first time they run a points-paying race with 2 cars since 2014. Wow, and look at that block by Durrell. That's the first one we've seen of that today. And we know blocks can get pretty hairy as one car makes it just a little too late. That could mean the end of a bunch of cars deeper in the field, but Durrell was able to make that work here on lap 7. But Brian Lenning isn't going to wait too long to retake the lead here, as he'll go to the inside line. A lap later, we're looking at Colin Denton here in the big motorsports Chevrolet. A lot of eyes on him this weekend, as he had great stats in his duel, finishing top 10. But he's looking for more here in the first points-paying race of the year, taking over for the retired Cody Russell and runner-up in Copper Amateur Series points. There's a lot of eyes that say this could be the Rookie of the Year, and definitely not. There's not many other places to look than him, as he is in one of the top-tier teams and is definitely one of the drivers to look out for this season for that honors. Another driver looking. Oh, and there's a car spinning towards the inside. That's Aaron Lukes. He got dumped out of turn 4, and he'll be able to, and he's not going to keep it under control, actually, but he won't. And there's more carnage past the start-finish line. Multiple drivers spinning and sliding. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You don't want to lose the race in the first couple laps. They managed to keep it clean to lap 10, but no more. Oh, and that's a shame. There's Chase Marks in the 8 car with a destroyed front nose. Rick Witt as well in the Red Viper Racing Dodge. As a bunch of cars torn up in this accident. We'll have to go back and see what happened. It all started out here with a 38 car getting dumped. It looks like that's by Hergio Arvin Alonso, and if I've seen a super speedway race in my lifetime, I can suspect that maybe Hergio wasn't on the brakes coming back up onto the track. And the Krispy Kreme Ford, it looks like, is going to try to get through the tribal grass and just loses all control. You hit that grass and it becomes like an ice skating rink out there, and Hergio just couldn't do much after rejoining on the grass. And unfortunately, he's going to take a bunch of cars with him. I see Derek Petrie, Allison Rhodes probably with fatal damage there in the Pennzoil Ford. That team's just had a depressing speed week so far, Smart Motorsports. And you see there's Aaron Lukes, big hit to the inside wall into the safer barrier, but luckily misses pit road at least. Or maybe not luckily for his car, as he will sustain some heavy damage on that one. An interesting development, as Ryan Kendall will be the only car to stay out under pit stops. And we'll have to see what his strategy is as we take the green flag again. The zero-driven Dodge looking to maybe stretch it just a few more laps on fuel. We have seen fuel strategy come into play, and we'll have to see how this plays out and affects the front of the pack, as he'll be on worn tires. And the cars behind getting into it. Here's Brian Boone in the 70 Dodge for Bad Dad Racing, looking very racy right now. And Boone, winner of the second duels, he's going to go to the lead, and there might be a problem for Kendall, and he is severely off the pace. Man, I can't help but wonder if maybe there was, I don't know what happened there, actually. All the opportunity to come down pit road. Maybe he, I don't want to say he ran out of gas, because I feel like that would be too obvious, but there's definitely some problems on that 17 car, and he is going to bust up the pack here. Looks like a 5-car breakaway at the front. It's Brian Boone, Ryan Dunn, Michael Jones, both Bad Dad Racing cars up here. Brian Lenning in the Netflix Chevrolet. And I think that's Kyle Collins, the second white car, the third white car, I mean, back there, in the 5th position. Kyle Singer in the middle right now. Looks like he might go back to the main pack here in 6th place. And Stuart Grattan is leading that second pack in 7th. On the inside, there's Nick Purcell. Haven't seen him yet today, but he's making some moves. But definitely unfortunate to see the pack split up. However, that might eliminate the risk of another big one happening in this race. We'll have to see as Brian Boone continues to lead laps. and we are approaching the halfway point of this race. There's still plenty of time to continue racing, but it'll be interesting. They have 5 cars in this front pack. Will they be able to keep a gap over the rest of the field? And that could be determinant of how this race ends up finishing. Still early, mind you, as there is possibility of an accident, but you want to try to get away from the rest of the field. With enough side-by-side battling behind, this could be a godsend for some of these leaders out front. Nicholas Smudia, your pole sitter, trying to rally the troops and catch those guys out front. He'll fall into the 6th position. You can see on the very bottom of the screen the rest of the pack in front of him. As the main pack tries to reform and get together whatever they can, they have to try to be thinking about going at least double file and not 3 wide as we see behind. Riding on board the 04 car of Addison Steinbach, as we can definitely see them trying to make progress now with, I think that's, who would you suspect other than the 98 car of Daniel Voyles. He is leading this group around here with the 7 car, the 96. They're going to try to make some moves. That's actually a slow car in front. Oh, it looks like lap traffic has actually come into play, and you can see 2 of the cars from the first group have been completely stalled out by that car. And the Red Viper Racing entries once again, this time in the form of Rick Witt, causing problems for our leaders. However, this time more of an out-of-your-hands kind of issue. Still no word as to what happened to the 17 car. However, he has rejoined the track. We'll provide more information when that comes out. Brian Lenning has resumed the lead after the Rick Witt cars made it through, but with 3 cars out front, they weren't going to hold on to the lead much longer. And look at this, the big field has reunited, as we are definitely in the midst of seeing some accidents here as well, as now they're getting a little racy. We have officially reached the halfway point as Brian Boone continues to hold command over the front of the pack. You see his teammate back there, Michael Jones, Season 3 champion, and looking to win his first Daytona 500. And the Bad Dad Racing cars holding a commanding lead right now as they will push Addison Steinbach back from the 3rd position. But Michael Jones wants a taste of the lead for himself. He's going to go to the inside with help from Giovanni Barraza. And it looks like we're also going to see pit stops here. And on lap 25, roughly 15 laps after the last set of pit stops, we have cars coming down pit road, and Jones will be the first car to take into the pit stall. You see here comes the second group, a whole bunch of cars coming behind, and we have 1 car staying out, that's Sanders. We have a caution on the track actually, and that's actually entering pit road as Julio Caesar, some rear end damage, nothing too big, but it was enough to bring out the caution flag, it looks like. Actually a lot of damage for that Target Ford, and Smart Motorsports Day has not gotten any better, as they'll have to try to solve that issue. And I think we might see a case of brake fade here. Could be Eric Willis and the Under Armour Dodge it is. And wow, talk about just a series of unfortunate events, all surrounded by the Red Viper Racing entries, as Willis, the 3rd Red Viper Racing car to cause some issues here today. And he looks like he'll actually escape from that pretty much free of any damage. But with that, we'll resume the race here with past halfway and coming to the end of this thing. We actually have a bunch of cars off the pace here because of pit stops. We shuffled the order a little bit. Derek Petrie is leading the field, but he is not the leader. In fact, it is Kyle Collins in the 83 Lynxus Toyota. That's the first time he's seen the front of the pack. There's the 17 car who has rejoined the pack. He looks like he's up to speed, so whatever was plaguing the 17 car has obviously been fixed. Just behind, we see the normal competitors, though. Brian Lenning, Brian Boone, Addison Steinbach, all rallying and trying to compete for the lead around the lappers. The 53, 40, 17, they may be off the lead lap, but they all look to be on the pace, somewhat at least, as we'll see how that plays into the group and see how that alters the end of this race, possibly. Ryan Dunn goes to the lead. He's your first ever Daytona champion, as he won all the way back in 2014 with a different team, mind you, but he has been on a different team in every year of driving since. The Ice Valley Dodge. Ice Valley has been on the car since after he won the first Daytona 500 race. They have been a loyal sponsor of the sport, and Dunn looking to bring them to victory lane one more time for Overdrive Motorsports this time. As we see, Lenning has taken the lead here on lap 32 with the 27 car of Ruby Easton now going to the lead. But how about this for a run? Zach Rain and TRN Motorsports' camp. We mentioned Rastafire Racing. This is the other upstart team for Toyota. And the Weber Grills Toyota Camry. Looking at seeing the lead here, actually. An astounding run out of the ex-Old Spice Racing driver. And there was a lot of good rumors around where he would land. However, a lot of those did not materialize. He is going to try to take a startup team and maybe show that they shouldn't be underestimated after all. Daniel Voyles in the 98 car leading the second pack once again. We see the 00 car falling back in line. I believe these guys may have gotten caught off guard by some of the lap traffic, and they're trying to regroup and come back into contact with the front of the pack. And as we see, they are pretty formed up back there. They might actually catch them. But meanwhile, out front, Brian Lenning and Brian Boone, they have been stout all day long and are continuing the battle. But here comes Zach Rain. Living up to his name, he is reigning on the parade of all the veterans out front here. One of the rookies from last season was characterized by his you either finish well or you don't even show up at all style of racing. Definitely hoping to qualify for more races this season in order to compete. But as we see, coming to 10 laps to go, we are nearing the end of this race, and the intensity is only ramping up from here. Lenning has regained the lead with Samudio making a charge on the outside. Your pole sitter has not gone anywhere since the start of this thing, with Ryan Dunn out there on the outside. But we still have lap traffic intermingled within this group here, with Ryan Kendall and the 40 car. They are not running, and there's Giovanni Barraza peeling off. He is not lap traffic. He is racing for the win, but it appears maybe he has run into a problem, or maybe he doesn't think he can make it all the way. Either way, he has come down pit road, and the rest of the field is left to compete on their own. Oh, and he's going to get involved in an accident. You saw Barraza peel up the track, and he's going to get clobbered by the Bud Shootout winner, and there is carnage coming through turn number 3. And that is exactly what we did not want to see. Oh no, and Barraza coming off a pit road is going to cause the definite big one of the day. We thought we had seen it earlier today. Thought maybe we could get away with not having one later in the race. But that is definitely materialized here right now, as I saw probably 3 cars, I think, on their lids. And there's Barraza. The first victim is the 98 of Daniel Voyles, just unsuspecting, was not able to get out of the way. And Voyles himself gets clobbered by Haley Wish. And Webster Zygarde, I believe, takes the biggest tumble there in the 12, flipping all the way down the banking. And the 99 car, Eric Willis, is at a tumultuous day. He'll end his car up in smoke. But wow, you saw Jack Porkins there barely avoid that one. And pretty much the only car behind him to make it through. Here's Voyles with a huge impact from the 46 car, and there's the 12 car rolling down the banking. The 14 car I saw was involved. A bunch of cars taken out in this one. But this will leave us with just a few laps to settle it all. Jay Durrell has assumed the lead after all that, but he is not out front. He is behind a few of the lap traffic in front of him. We'll have to see how this all plays out. Behind Jay Durrell is Brian Lenning in the 5 car. Stout all race long and is looking for his first career win. Can it come here today at Daytona? As we take the green flag with 3 laps to go, Durrell in the Fitzwater Australia racing car. They have never gone to victory lane on a super speedway. Maybe they can change that here today. As Durrell looking to hopefully looking to open his season off on a high note. And he's going to have to hold off the hard-charging cars behind him. In fact, here comes his teammate Stuart Gratton in the 59 car, hoping to give him a hand here on the outside line. Durrell tried to throw the block, very similar to what we saw earlier in the race, but it's not going to happen, as Lenning will make the move happen and he will take the lead. But on the inside of him, Addison Steinbach in the 04 car for Knight Hoffman Racing. He's going to go to this top spot. And coming below him, the lap traffic of the 17 car, Ryan Kendall in the 0 driven Dodge. He won't get there, but that is lap traffic. Steinbach doesn't have to worry about him. And that's a good buffer between him and the 75 car behind. Dunn is a Daytona 500 champion. Can he make something happen in the final 2 laps and get to the front of the pack? He has help from his teammate Ruby Easton moving into the top 3. And we'll have to see, can he make it all the way? Ryan Dunn almost there, but is not going to be able to get there, as Ryan Kendall's going to move him up and off the track. And Kendall's going to take the bottom line. White flag is in the air. Addison Steinbach holding strong, has not been to victory lane since 2014. He is trying to change that here today. And I must say he has it looking very well right now. No competition from behind. And his competition for second place going 3 wide. Logan Sanders for Knight Hoffman Racing, teammate to Addison Steinbach, is making it 3 wide, and that might have sealed the deal. It has taken me almost half a decade to say this again, but Addison Steinbach is your winner for the first race of the season, and he will leave here victorious. What a way to start out the season for Addison Steinbach. Congratulations to him and the whole Knight Hoffman organization, as they really drove their butts off today during this one, and they'll surely be celebrating back at the shop. And what a wild way to end the race here today. The Coca-Cola Ford is going to burn it down after this one for sure. But first, to your finishing results of 1-2 for Knight Hoffman Racing. A lot of team chemistry going on in the front of the pack, with 3 teams finishing with 2 drivers in the top 10. Another notable one, Overdrive Motorsports. Great runs for them with Ryan Dunn and Ruby Easton. Pole sitter Nicholas Smudio will finish 15th. Maybe not what he expected, but definitely had a good run all day long. Down the list, Ryan Kendall had a very fast car there at the end. Just what could have been if he had not had that problem early in the race. And all the cars out of the race. Michael Jones notably was one of the best, as well as Daniel Voyles, both end up out of the race after that late race big one. Addison Steinbach will take the early lead in the points standings, with a few shuffles based on the bonus points listed below. But there's still plenty of time, 15 more races until the points are even a problem for some of these drivers. You see the early cut line here with Murtav Frischl on top of Aaron Lukes. It's been a long time, but the ASCA League is happy to be back. Atlanta is coming next, and we will see you then in the not-so-distant future. This is Colin on the ASCA League channel. We'll see you then.